Let's talk about what to do when a new team member messes up for the first time or lets you down for the first time. First thing that you want to do is own your part of it, right? It might be an expectation that you just didn't set. And you want to show high character here and own your part of it and not just blame the other person. Really look inward, like, okay, like, why did this happen? Because a lot of times with team members, it's that are not performing, it's actually often just a failure of leadership. The one person can go to company A and they're going to thrive. That same person can get hired by company B and they're just totally like, they're not an A player. They're slacking off, or they're just not. Maybe they're just a B player. Like they're not being called to their highest potential. So let's be clear about that. The first thing is own your part of it specifically. Look where you could have been better, where you could have set a better expectation, because again, poor performance from team members is often just a failure of leadership, especially if it continues over a long period of time. It is most definitely a failure of leadership, almost 99% of the time. So own your part of it. And then the second part is, of course, set or reset that expectation. Be clear about that, what it means. Maybe even, this is like step 2A or 2B, tie it to a core value. I just had one of these conversations. Some of our core values are, in my real estate business, are do it right and make it somewhere you'd love to live. And professionalism, be a professional. That means, and this is actually the conversation I just had, was showing up at a certain time, a set time every single day, and clocking out at a set time every day. But really, like, the most important thing is the start time. The end time isn't as important. Sometimes actually I have people on my team that work 30 minutes over, 45 minutes over, and I really appreciate that. They're real A players. And so anyway, yeah, set the expectation. Tie it maybe to a core value like professionalism. Like I said, I just had this conversation with a new team member where it turns out like I just didn't set the expectation. I have others on my team that they come at 7 a.m. And when they say they're coming at 7 a.m., they're there at 6:45, 6:50, and then they're out at 3 o'clock. Sometimes 3:30, but 7 to 3 are the set hours. Professionalism. And I actually just didn't even set this expectation with this new team member. So, I wasn't holding him to that standard. So he didn't adhere to that standard. So I had to have the conversation with him, own my part of it, and get him on board with the solution. Tell him why, right? Like, we talk about core values all the time. Not just like, oh, these are our core values, but like knowing our top, like when we're just talking, when we're doing the work, when we're meeting, when we're doing a walkthrough, like the core values just come up naturally. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be some contrived thing where you're saying like, these are our core values. Like your core values should actually just unfold naturally. That's a whole separate conversation too. Core values are everything though. And so anyway, what do we have here? Own your part of it, set or reset the expectation, maybe even tie it to a core value. And then also, depending on the seriousness of the conversation, tie it to, like, remind them of why you brought them onto the team, or the potential that you see in them, and paint the picture of the future of your working together, what it could be, what the relationship could be, what their leader, what kind of role they could take on in the future. And truly, like, when you have a small business, when you have a company that's under even 50 people, anyone who comes into that business has an incredible opportunity at their hands. Because when you're in a company that small, you as someone coming into that company as a team member, you have tremendous potential to grow within that company where you don't have to spend 10 to 30 years climbing a corporate ladder. Like, no, like your impact can be felt from day one. And as the company thrives, you will thrive. It's so, like, don't underestimate as a small business owner, like, don't undersell that. That's the biggest thing that you have going for when you're recruiting talent and when you're continually selling people on working with you to achieve whatever goal that you have. Is like there's a massive opportunity here. Again, don't undersell that. So to recap, again, when a new team member disappoints you for the first time, you're gonna own your part of it. Then you're gonna set or reset the expectation. And then you're gonna maybe even tie it to a core value. And then the fourth thing is, what was that fourth thing? Now we're testing my memory here. We just talked about it. Remind them. Paint the picture, the vision for the future. It's not just transactional. Oh, I'm going to pay you $50 to do this, or I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars every other week. Like no, it goes beyond that. There's much more here. So there you have it. That's what you do when a new team member disappoints you for the first time. That's your protocol to get them back on the bus and everybody rowing in the right direction. And this is so important because it's so important how you handle these situations as a leader, because this determines how your team members are going to feel about their relationship to the work, to your company. And that is everything. Because if your team members, if you handle this situation poorly, there's going to be some bad energy in the air. There's going to be maybe even some bad blood, as Taylor Swift would say. It could start simmering at a very low level and build over time. And that, when you don't handle these situations tactfully, that stuff shows. It reflects in the final product. Okay, the energy of your team members, their internal state is reflected in the work that they do. So you need your team members to be feeling good about you, their boss, whoever it is, the company, the relationship to work. You need them to be feeling good, because that's going to reflect in the end product. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.